Good morning and welcome back to Basic Electronics. Today we are going to discuss modulation, which is mentioned in Module 6 of our syllabus. In the previous video, we have discussed a block diagram of communication system wherein we have seen information source which is collecting information and sending signals to transmitter section. Transmitter is used to convert the signal collecting from information source to another format which is suitable for transmission. So, modulation is taking place at the transmitter section. So, we are discussing what is modulation. First, we have to consider the signal from the information source. These are the properties of signal collecting from information source. The signal from this information source is a low frequency signal. That is the first property of the signal. Low frequency signal coming from information source to the transmitter. Then the second property is it has very less energy. Less energy means that we cannot transmit this low frequency signal over a longer distance. Then this low frequency signal means a signal or a wave with frequency range 20 Hz to 20 kHz wave. Then we cannot transmit this signal over a longer distance. Then the security of this low frequency signal is very less. That means that there is a chance of interference or there is a chance of noise during the travel of this signal. So, as the signal is a low frequency signal, we cannot increase the frequency of this low frequency signal. So, this low frequency signal is known as the modulating signal. So, I introduced a new term, modulating signal. Modulating signal means this low frequency signal from this information source, or another name is base signal. So actually we need to transmit this low frequency signal over a longer distance. We can say that we are going to hide this low frequency signal in a high frequency signal. We need to hide this signal, or we need to superimpose this low frequency signal in another signal. So, we are using a high frequency signal for this. So, we need to, I repeat, we need to hide or we need to superimpose this low frequency signal in a high frequency signal. Okay. The another name for, or the name used here is carrier signal. Carrier signal is a high frequency signal. We are going to hide or superimpose this low frequency signal in a high frequency signal. Okay. So, let's analyze the modulation process in transmitter section. So, the definition of modulation is some properties of this high frequency signal or some properties of this carrier signal is varied in accordance with the instantaneous amplitude of the low frequency signal is known as modulation. Properties of this high frequency signal is varied. Properties like amplitude, phase or frequency is varied in accordance with the instantaneous amplitude of the low frequency signal is known as modulation. So the definition is, you can see the definition in your notes. So the meaning of modulation is change. Okay. So let's see the properties of high frequency signal. High frequency signal, here the term used is high frequency signal is the carrier signal. Then it is a sine wave with a fixed amplitude, phase and frequency. And also this bandwidth of this high frequency signal is very high. Okay, I repeat, we need to transmit this low frequency signal over a longer distance. So we have to consider one example. Suppose I have a paper in my hand and I would like to throw this paper over a long distance. So it is easy to throw this paper over a long distance by wrapping it with a stone. Here stone is the carrier signal, paper is the low frequency signal. Or we can say that paper is the information or low frequency signal and I am wrapping it with a stone. Stone is the carrier signal to throw over a longer distance. So we can use a simple example like that. So the information source contains low frequency signal and a transmitter. Transmitter is performing modulation process. So in modulation we are superimposing this low frequency signal in a high frequency signal. High frequency signal is the carrier signal. So this modulated signal is transmitted over a long distance, or this signal is transmitted through a channel to the receiver section. There are so many advantages in modulation. Let's see what are the advantages of modulation.